I'd like to welcome you to the show, to the show, to the show. Introduce you to me, introduce you to me. Hope you like what you see, baby, like what you see. I would like to welcome you to the show, to the show, to the show. Introduce you to me, introduce you to me. Give me something to talk about, talk about. I'd like to thank you all for coming out tonight. You're looking so nice. Hey, we shining bright. I would like to sing for you a couple songs that I wrote, but let me clear my throat so I could give you something different than I did last time. I would like to propose a toast. Salute. May all you hold dear and close. Do right and keep you smiling for the rest of your life. So welcome you to the show, to the show, to the show. Introduce you to me, introduce you to me. Hope you like what you see, baby.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to TRT Productions. I am your host, Big Rand. Hold on along with my co-host, Tony Tones in the house.
Another good evening. Another good evening.
Ladies and gentlemen, join us tonight.
Another good evening.
I don't want to call him a guest because he's been on a few times and we always enjoy his company. Sitting in the third seat tonight, co-hosting with the co-host and the co-host. I appreciate that, man. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Young King Dolo to the show, man.
Good, everyone.
What's happening, Young King
Welcome,
Dolo?
brother. Welcome.
First off, I'd like to say,
Why
good
do
to see
you
y'all.
always have to point? I'm sorry to cut you off, but why you always got to point out something that go on the show?
I'm
behind
sorry.
The scenes.
I'm not going to point it out no more.
Good golly, Miss
I ain't going to point it out no more. Ladies and gentlemen, I pointed it out. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Young King. What you was about to say?
First off, I'd like to thank y'all again, because I love being here, man. I appreciate the show, man. I love TRT Productions and what y'all do here. I'd like to thank the audience for always tuning in. Appreciate y'all for always showing my boys love.
Appreciate you for always giving us love.
Appreciate your appreciation.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it. That's a good way to hug back, man.
This guy.
Oh, man. So, before we even get to it, let's catch up on you. Okay. Latest projects. Make sure you get your fan page out. Make sure you get your YouTube page out. People don't know you're an artist. You know.
Yes.
They don't know. Go ahead and
They're
speak.
gonna learn today.
They gonna learn something today. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Every page you can find it. Any music thing you can find it. YNG King Dolo.
King Dolo.
Spelled just as is.
YNG.
King Dolo.
King Dolo. Songs? Any new songs you working on?
Any new songs I'm working on? Yes. The album is one song away from being done. Produced wise, I'm working with a new producer right now. He's actually like where I recorded, so I'm hoping hope fans out and everything. Some live instruments I'm hoping to use.
Oh, that sounds
Oh,
good.
here you go. He done got up off the machine. He done got up off the machine, and now he's up on the live instruments, man. It's all right. It's all right. It's been a minute though. It's been a minute. And we bumped into each other. We bump into each other all the time. And I said, you always ask your Rand anytime. You know where we at on Thursdays. You're more than welcome. You're going to be our bootsy to the flag, man. You're going to be the bootsy to the flag, man.
I
Appreciate it.
Yeah, man, we appreciate you. So through the hour, people, we're going to keep in touch with Young King Dolo. We're going to go back and forth with him, keep up with his projects. Make sure you check him out on Facebook. Make sure you check him out on YouTube. He's going to sit in with us tonight on our Stories Adventure. So we're going to open up tonight. And I hate to always have to open up with, we always got to open up with some type of situation going on.
Some reckless misunderstanding.
Yeah, and what's sad about it is you don't want to report it, but you have to talk about it because it's not like it's the elephant in the room, but the room is full of elephants.
And it's not going away.
Yeah, it's not going away.
It's murder at its finest.
Murder. Ooh, go ahead, speak on it, brother.
No, I'm gonna let you go ahead.
Well, the situation we're talking about, and we don't want to point fingers, but there was a situation that took place in Orlando We have a real problem with gun activity in this country, man. It is not getting any better. It is not getting any better. There's nothing that no one can do to solve it. And it's coming from everywhere. From law enforcement, from citizens, people with mental health, people with not mental health. People are just angry. They're shooting people. Who's next?
It's mostly the youth. If you're paying attention, you're seeing it's a lot of the youth that's really shooting right now. And I think it's reckless. It's too reckless. I mean, what is on these young men's minds that they just about hauling a gun and shooting somebody? I don't even know what brought that about. So I hope you can enlighten me on what started that. And just off the top of my head, it seemed like a young man, 19 years old, returned to the scene of a crime to cause another crime.
The thing that caught my attention about the story was the fact that it was a reporter involved. And when he came back a second time on the scene, he shot again. Allegedly came back. He shot again. Mm-hmm. I hate to tell stories like that because I just wanted to get into the fact of it's going to come to a point where everybody's going to have to own themselves. And I hate to say it. I never thought I would come to that point of that type of view to say, yeah, it's time to pick up arms because I'm a man I do not appreciate guns.
Okay, so you think that's an answer or a panic? Are they gonna have guns as an answer for the situation or for a panic?
I think it's reality.
Well, that would be a panic.
I think people have made guns so part of life that they're just as common as having a dog. And that's where we're at right now. Okay. You can't even say every other home owns a gun. You have to say every home.
Nah, I wouldn't say that. I don't think it's gotten that bad.
Yeah, some may register, some may not. Some may not give a damn to register. It's a protection thing. Period.
So that's legal and you did say licensed and unlicensed.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter. It's not going to change. There's nothing we can do now. We are on the verge of what some people may call a purge.
Well, it will change because things never stay the same.
Okay.
So it will change, but whether it change for the better or the worse, that's to be determined.
That's where we're standing right now.
That's to be determined. But we've been here before.
What?
If you think, we've been here before. We've been with massive murders and things like that. I don't even know what caused it to die down. At this degree, like I said before, it seems like with social media, everything is just in the limelight right now. These things, just like we find out about murders a couple of days later, it don't automatically go on the news. That's how broad it is. That's how many it is. It's not pointed directly, oh, it's just another murder. Say Georgia has a murder. We won't hear about it for about 4 days. We won't hear about it the day of.
Right. I got a question.
Unless we try checking Georgia's news.
True. Mm-hmm. Got a question for you.
Ask away.
When you write, do subjects like this come about? Do you guys sit in the studio and have conversations about events like this that happen?
I mean, we talk about it, like, for real. But I think it's because we, like, involved around, like, as rappers, around, like, dangerous situations like that. It's important for us to have that discussion. Like, what to choose to write in the climate, what to not to write. And, but yeah, I know what you're talking about, man.
It's a situation where, you know, you're because that's how I feel when we have to turn on the mic. There are 1,000 things to talk about, but to have this certain situation be our topic, it almost like, damn, what is the world coming to? I mean, at this time, you might have college people who are graduating. You got certain organizations now that are donating to the HBCU colleges. You know, so there's a lot of things that have turned around since certain people have spoken out. But yet, no matter what we do positive, it's always a negative when you hear somebody getting shot. Because here's the sad part. It's either a black man being shot or a black man doing the shooting. Do you agree or we disagree?
You know what I think it is? There's more guns and opportunities in this country, and that's
In every home. Everybody carries one.
I wouldn't say everybody. I see a vast majority of people who carry guns has probably been carrying guns. But from what you're saying in your belief, as things intensify, you're saying more and more people are going to start carrying guns for protection.
I think it's more than just protection.
What else is it?
I think it's just become a way of life. I think it's...
But it's for protection.
When you get dressed in the morning, your gun is on your hip.
I mean,
unless you law enforcement.
Would we feel safe in a country where everyone has a gun?
That's one of my points. That's a good one.
That's where the country's going. Whether we want to say that guns are wrong to carry and then maybe they should crack down on it, look what's happening.
Are we really ready for America to turn into that one scene from Atlanta?
But look what's happening. So if we're not ready for it, then what are we ready for? Because what we doing right now ain't the answer. The marches, they're not working. The shootings of police officers, that's not, of officers doing shootings and we're shooting ourselves, that's not working.
Well, the marches is supposed to get like Congress and things to change laws and rules to help minimize these things that are happening, correct?
Yeah, I don't have nothing against the march. I'm sorry. I apologize.
So I'm just saying that the purpose of the march is that,
right,
as far as I understand.
Yes.
So are we still at a point where we're waiting for government to make a move? Is government the one that has to make the move?
Here's my question to you, because you make a very good point. My only question to you is, how long have we been marching?
I couldn't put a date on it. It's been before I was born.
Exactly my point. So
some things have changed, some things
have not. Right. So when do we get to the end of that march when it comes to gun violence? Because it just seems like every time we think we have come to an end where we could say, you know what, this gun violence in our country is getting better. Man, you just have schools shootings, supermarket shootings now.
Okay, but on one side of the spectrum, as far as the legal side, what's being said is that we have to put someone in office that has to do with voting, in other words. We have to put someone in office that's willing to make these changes that's needed for the government and da-da-da-da-da. Whereas a different side is seeing things going from a black-white thing to going to a youth thing, to a mental health thing, as we mentioned in the beginning, where parts of the uncontrollable violence is coming from mental health. It's coming from the youth just lashing out, not having that support staff. I spoke about it before.
Yes, you have.
On how
yes,
a lot of our youth was being raised by the grandparents. Mm-hmm. And the beginning of COVID took out our older people. So it took out it took out that stability that a lot of these young kids growing up had.
Yes.
So where are they to go now if they can't go to grandma's house? They go to the crews and the gangs and all of that tell them, listen, we're your family
because
now.
They
you know the
their
whole
family.
history.
You're right about that.
Right. That's where the love winds up going.
Question for you.
Yeah.
You said that rap was dangerous. You said that, right?
To a certain level, yeah.
Do you carry a gun?
No, but I have looked into licensing for a firearm, just in case, because you don't want to.
Do you believe that your career is gonna take that turn where you one day gonna have to protect yourself from, as Tone would say, mental people and certain type of youth?
Kind of.
Well, I was going to say his violence might not come from that direction, being that he's in the limelight and producing and everything. He might just need it for security.
Well, I'm asking him because I just happen to think your job might be one of the most top 5 or top 3 most dangerous jobs in this country.
What, to make music?
To be a black rapper, yeah. That's
Really?
my opinion.
Oh, okay.
That's my opinion. I do believe you guys are a target. You have to watch what you say, why you say it, to whom you say it to. But the point is, I don't think it comes to the point where you have to carry a gun. See, as a person
Sorry
who's
about that.
that's okay, no,
Right.
as a person who's been in the environment in which we live, as Tony always said, I've never felt like I had to tote a gun. So when you get senseless shootings like this, or you get rappers who go on the screen and they're waving pistols and automatic weapons, and this is what you're teaching the people, like Tone always said, is what you perceive. So if you're putting that out on the screen, you're rapping about it, which I listen to myself. I listen to that type of rap myself. I do. I'm not blaming it on rap. I'm just saying because it's just the subject of the matter right now. It's not blaming it on rap. Go ahead.
No. What I wanted to add, I was trying to let you finish. What I wanted to add was, I think the questions should be asked to you, because you just explained that throughout your years of dealing with the environment, you haven't had to pull out a gun. Now, how do you feel right now? Are you the one thinking, someone who hasn't had to pull out a gun, thinking of getting a license for a firearm? That's the question. Somebody who never looked to go to a pistol. How do you feel about these times and how they're changing?
I think people in my generation, like you and I, unless you were able to put your 10 toes down in that type of environment, you can't understand what's going on. You and I understand. We understand the frustration. We understand the pain. We understand why they target certain people. It's just not justification to do it. My thing is, it's becoming a point where now you're hurting innocent people in your random acts. And a person like myself who think guns are dangerous no matter which end, whether you're pointing or being pointing at, yeah, I'm feeling like, you know what, I want to take me and my wife and maybe get the proper training, maybe get the proper education on how to handle a gun, maybe get the proper gun force, because my thing is not to shoot to kill.
Exactly.
I can't, as a man,
You need to take some of these cops to get some of that training.
well, some of them cops probably could take the training if they really wanted it. Let's be honest. We all know that. If they really wanted to take that training, they want. You have to be honest. People don't want to face the facts that there are cops who just might want to just shoot to shoot, period.
But as we had a prior conversation.
I'm sorry.
No,
Oh, yeah, you want to say something, bro?
you gotta be honest about yourself. Like, gun control is about the user mostly. Like, cause there is no gun control over gun control in the state of climate right now. My first thing when I first wanted to know about firearms, I wanted to know about gun safety. That was my first thing about it. Like, what not to do. You know what I'm saying? That is the first thing you understand. Like there are kids who see guns and like kill themselves and kill their friends or whatever. That's the one thing I try to avoid. Like, how to handle a firearm properly. How to, that's the one thing I had to engage in.
And I think that's what a lot of the
But
youth miss out on that.
That simple choice separates most from others. You know what I'm saying?
There's no class in the ghetto.
But wait a minute, but what training does what do you tell a person that's already been trained and still making the mistakes? Because what I was going to say was, when we watch the movies and the video games and all of that, when we watch the cop shows, when they go to the range, everything you see them shooting is a headshot or a heart shot. You don't see them shooting at the legs.
First of all, pulling a gun is not a mistake.
No, I'm saying as far as where you shoot your person at.
No, what I'm saying is pulling a gun is not a mistake. And when you pull a gun, that's something you want to do.
Okay.
That's something you want to do. Now, pulling the trigger is something totally different. That could be done by accident, maybe because they went from having them 38s that were hard to pull to having 9mm that the hand triggers.
Yeah.
Some of that could take offense because when a person pulls a gun, he's already nervous. Your hand's already jittery. Come on, it's not like I haven't.
Not everyone.
No, but I'm saying for those who reckless shooting, we're talking about reckless shooting here. We're talking about people who are trained and still commit reckless shooting.
Okay. Their hand is not nervous. They do.
I believe so. I believe so. Once they I believe so. Once they pull it, they don't realize that they probably want to put their hand on the trigger. Now I'm just giving the benefit of the doubt, but I know for a fact there are some people who just pull it, who pull the gun and just pull the trigger.
Because you're thinking they've been trained. As an officer, you think he's been trained. He know when to fire. He know if there's a child in front of him to hold it, not to pull the trigger. He's supposed to also know, as I was stating, when you're shooting it, even at a perpetrator, you try to stop him, not kill him. Now what we're seeing is the bullseye is to take out, not to take down.
You made a comment earlier, and I thought it was brilliant. You said, and you just said it again. It's not to take down, it's to take out.
Right. No, it was
you wrote it to me. I don't know what my phone is.
Now we don't see the officers as protecting and serving. We see them as take down and control.
Take down and control. And that's what it is, because that's what they're showing.
Yeah. It's not about protecting and serving. It's all about taking them down and control the situation.
Having an officer say, or having a youth say, or anybody of that matter who doesn't have proper training. Now, you can go to training, doesn't mean that it's proper training. And I'm not saying that wherever these officers are getting training is not proper.
I was about to say.
I'm saying that even when you get proper training, you still can commit reckless act.
Yeah.
A reckless act is a reckless act, no matter if you have training or not training. So does it make it a difference of how reckless it is? Maybe. But right now, what we're seeing is people who are trained who are just as reckless. Mm-hmm. They are just as reckless as the people who buy off the street and shoot with their eyes closed. So we are not having problems with the guns. We're having a problem with the people.
Okay, now wait a minute. You just said something, though. Mm-hmm. You said if it's not, you said you don't want to blame the training, like where they're getting the training at. But I think you have to, because it's not in one area. It's not limited to one area or one state or one training facility. This is almost worldwide. Well, I'm gonna say statewide in the United States.
So I'm gonna put it like this. Let's go to basketball for a minute. You have an individual who's part of a team, right? Mm-hmm. In that team, you have practice. In that practice, you know when to take shots and when not to take your shots. Mm-hmm. So if you have a person who's passing up everybody else's shots, but he's taking most of the shots, now you're being reckless with your shooting.
Not if he's a star, they don't consider
it. Don't matter. Forget about the star. This is not about being the star. This is about reckless shooting.
Okay, reckless shooting.
This is about reckless shooting. He's taking reckless shots. Now, he may have shot 30 shots a game and only hit 5. That's reckless shooting.
JR. Mm-hmm.
Whatever. My point I'm saying is, it's up to the coach to say, you know what? I'm going to leave you with. Right. Mm-hmm. So now here you have, let's go now back to the officers on the street. He pulls his gun. He does a reckless shooting. Right? Mm-hmm. He gets suspended 3 months. He serves his 3 month suspension.
This is a particular case.
This is a particular case. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to say where. I'm just going to talk about it.
Particular case.
And in this 3 months after coming back on duty, he does the same thing again. He does another reckless shooting. Mm-hmm. Now this time he's fired for it. Allegedly. Mm-hmm. Should the coach have pulled him the first time? Because he did. He pulled him after the reckless shooting. He pulled him. Mm-hmm. The problem was he gave him an opportunity to shoot again by putting him back on the street. I'm not saying he should have fired him because I don't know the situation. I'm just saying you knew he was reckless once. What made you think he wasn't going to be reckless again?
So you're stating that once you're reckless, well, that's the same thing they say. Once you're a criminal, always a criminal.
Amen.
That's stating that you believe in that.
So if you have a cop who kills the first time, and I'm using the word kill.
Okay.
And I'm not using the word shooting. I'm using the word kill.
Go ahead.
Should he have the opportunity to kill again?
Now, I would believe that in the action of your word of kill, he would not have been allowed back on the force again. So there had been something to the degree of his credibility
Because they call
to
it
bring him back to the force.
Because they call it a justified shooting.
I don't know. But it had to be something to the degree of his credibility that got him back on the force.
If you're a cop, can a justified shooting be determined as a killing? Because it's justified by the department, not by society. I gotta go to the bathroom. Y'all go ahead and figure that one out. I'll be right back.
No, I don't believe that makes much sense. How is it a justified killing? A justified shooting?
But if he shoots and the person dies,
It still would be a justified killing. Like, in other words, if somebody's firing at you,
right?
that a perpetrator's firing at you, that you had went to see. I mean, you was called on a case, and this is the individual you come in contact with, and that individual is shooting at you. You happen to hit him, get him down, and he dies. I don't think that's considered a killing. That's when a cop allegedly done his job, basically. He went, like, say if it was a robbery. He went to the scene of a robbery. He got the call. He approached the situation properly. He was met with fire. He fired back. Individual went down, happened to die. That's an occupational hazard for him.
Now, there's a trick to that question.
I don't think so.
There's a trick to that question.
It depends on who it's tricky for.
Because you have to ask yourself, at which time are you mentioning? Because if you mention the time before time, we didn't have body cams. We didn't have cameras. So, you know what could have been considered what we see now as reckless shooting or reckless killing could have been known as a justified shooting. Because remember, it was their word against ours. You have to remember that now. So in this day and times, you may have the opportunity to see a lie become a truth.
Well, we are having that opportunity because that's why it's so broad right now.
Well, that's because I'm saying we have cameras, body cams.
Yep, not even body cams. You have cameras.
We have
everywhere.
cameras. Now, mind you, prior
Social
to
media.
having the cameras,
First thing people do is pull out their cameras.
prior to having the cameras, there were reckless shootings, right?
Oh, you had.
Can we say that?
You had to
That's
get.
me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You had to get the word of any witnesses.
Yeah.
That's what it was then.
Yeah. What's happening, man? I'm on the air.
Okay.
All right. See, we on the air.
All
All right.
right.
What's up, sir?
we on the air. We gonna broadcast it. See, we on. All right.
Checking
I'll
in
put
on
it out
you.
after we done. I'll put it out after we done. All right.
That's real too.
That's right.
Oh, I thought that was Torrance.
That's both of them.
Oh.
So what I'm saying at this point, because we have cameras now that can actually catch the lie in its act, right?
Catch who?
The lie
Oh, okay.
in its act.
Okay.
That goes for us too now.
Of course.
Because you see what just happened in Orlando with the young man going berserk with a gun. Got caught on camera. There's a lot of people getting caught on camera. Like,
Well, he didn't get caught on the camera. He ran.
he got caught by the
He got caught by his actions.
well, they show it from the
I haven't seen the video.
the
I haven't
news
seen the
crew.
video. Oh, okay.
They just ain't gonna release that footage because of the fact of
The journalist.
the journalist that got that, you know.
And they say he was sitting. They wasn't sitting in a regular journalist car or a news vehicle.
Right.
Excuse me. They was sitting in a plain vehicle. So some could assume or perceive that he might have thought they was police sitting in the van before he fired.
Right.
That just dawned on to me as I'm reading the article.
If it just so happened that it doesn't work out for what you planned musically, what would you do after that? No, I'm not saying you're gonna fail. What I'm just trying to.
No, nothing. No.
Yeah.
I wanted to do this one Gangsta-licious line. No, Thug Jefferson line, but I didn't have the heart to. But nah. If all doesn't work out, I think I'm gonna try my hand at something outside, but still within like the arts, like film or producing or like something like to do with digital media, something around that to keep me like in the fold.
You know why? You know why I say that is because it's like I can't even say it a rap game because that ain't even a game no more. That shit is so much reality. I'm afraid of my brothers and sisters who enter now, whether they enter on a record level or street level, however you enter the game and you put yourself out there, it is so dangerous. I'm only asking you this because do you think that's the problem with a lot of our youth who wanted to be rappers, who weren't that successful at it? Because you have your label success rappers, you have your street battle rappers who are successful, and you also have your YouTube rappers who are successful. So now you have three very good categories that you basically can fall in. And there are millions, there are thousands and thousands of rappers in each of these categories. You know? But then there are those who don't make it. There are those who just don't make it. Like, do you believe that they try to live up to the reputation of what they're supposed to? Because you got to look at the names. Is that a problem?
Well, let's go back to I still don't understand. I'm still in a loss. Other than the negative rap battles or what they have that's caused the violence, what dangers does a normal person, and I only say normal to somebody who's not coming out battling anybody, they're just coming out with good lyrics, what dangers faces them?
None to a degree, but the hype and ego of the crowd, I guess. I mean, there was one stupid rapper who brought out a fake gun, but he got corrected, like right then and there. I don't know. The state of that is completely different on the crowd.
I'm saying if you're not going hardcore, does hardcore come at you? That's basically what I'm asking. Okay, like a rapper, like when Will Smith first came out, he wasn't making hardcore records like going at nobody and this, that, and going against different sets. Would somebody coming out like him face the same rhetoric? That's what I'm trying to understand, because the way it could be received is that you're saying like anybody who's interested in rap, you're in danger.
But that's just like anybody who wants to be a police officer.
Well, police officers, you're facing a certain kind of crime,
But
certain kind of element.
Hold on, I'm bringing these two together because the element of that's the element of our environment right now. It's police and rap. That's the element of our environment.
Well, I think it goes with what you say, environment, who they're around,
right?
And
so
what energy that brings, because like there's certain rappers like or certain singers like who shouldn't have been involved in certain situations that they was, but you know,
the guy from
you can't say you can't.
I know he's talking about. I know one of them that you're talking about that might have just been in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Exactly, but you can't say anything when God calls you. It is what it is, man. But
is that a God calling though?
But it shouldn't have. The thing is, it shouldn't have been. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like there's always someone who takes it to that level when it shouldn't have been that situation. So it goes back to what I said. People control versus gun control, man. Like people aren't in control like when they got the guns on them.
So let's think about this. You got an officer who's done 15, 20 years of service. He ain't never had to pull his gun once. But he's riding with somebody who's already got 3 citations for 2 shootings. You don't find that to be unbalanced situation. And this is what I'm saying about people who rap, because you guys just made up a good point about a person who has good lyrics, but yet he puts himself in a category because that's where his friends are at, or that's where his crew is at, because that's the direction they went into. You see what I'm saying? So you got an officer who might ride, who got a clean citation, but he's riding with somebody who doesn't. And in that split second, he done lost everything. Because he's with somebody maybe he shouldn't be with.
Mm-hmm. This goes back to when I say you always have a choice.
Right.
You don't have to be involved. You don't have to go. You don't have to do. You do have a choice.
The most dangerous thing in our society is a leader. I was watching this documentary, right? And I don't want to say the YouTuber's name because I don't really go through the YouTubers, but he said something that made so sense, but it hurt me so bad. He said, Dr. King had the dream. I didn't have the dream. But yet he knew that he led his people in the fire. Do you understand what I'm trying to tell you?
There's certain fights that the only outcome it will be fire, but you sometimes you gotta go towards the fire to feel the heat.
But you don't always have to be the leader to burn first.
Somebody's got to do. Somebody got to be in front.
If you weren't involved in a group and you moved as an individual,
you wouldn't be heard.
But you wouldn't be attacked the same.
But you wouldn't be heard.
Sometimes being heard and moving along the border is the best thing.
What is the saying?
I'm going to give you an example about us. Mm-hmm. Because we don't talk about a lot of the negative YouTubers. I'm pretty sure if we started talking about this person or naming that person, we would probably get a lot of views. But that's just not us. We're here as men to talk about the value of life, which no one is taken seriously. And we get absolutely no views at all. If we get 20, we are happy. We are clapping for ourselves. Facts. You feel me? But because you choose not to be on the negative side with a lot of things, people don't want to hear anything positive unless you've been preaching that positive for a very, and I mean a very long time.
I mean,
that's not really
life,
what I'm talking about.
You gotta think, in fact, like when you see something like life isn't marketable unless they're trying to sell you something in this country, bro. Like, there are commercials for guns for days.
But do you have to buy it? Do you have to buy what's available?
They said guns don't kill people.
People kill people. But people also sell people guns.
People also sell people meat.
Yeah, that's true. Rotten meat at that. I get it. I don't understand it, but I get it. And that's crazy. People be like, well, how you get it, but don't understand it? I get it because I live it every day. I don't understand it because giving a person a pass is that bad? It's that bad?
Why should a person, well, if two people on the same level, then a pass shouldn't be needed. It should come to common ground.
That's the point. We are on so many levels right now in life. I don't know where, who's, what, when, and why, because it came through later. See? I don't even know what I just said.
See?
That was slick, though.
It was unbalanced.
That was slick. Come on, man.
Okay. Say it again.
Man. I can't.
Okay, then. So how slick was it if you can't repeat it?
Ladies and gentlemen, sitting with the TRT crew tonight is the Young King Dolo. Like I always said, the Young King Dolo is always appreciated. He always comes through. He always speaks positive. Don't let him get into his, I really wanted to talk about the Book of Enoch tonight. Yeah. I wanted to get deep. But I'm a little afraid to talk about that. With the Catholic Church going through what they're going through, I'm a little afraid to break it down that to people. People don't know what the Book of Enoch is all about. And we really get banned. It's not like I really care, to be honest with you. And I'm pretty sure you know what the Book of Enoch is.
Yeah.
You're a very intelligent man. Like, you know your history better than me. You know. That's why I like always dealing with you, because even though you're a rapper, there are most rappers you can't sit down with and have a very intellectual with. You know, you're just one of them. So that's why I always appreciate your company, man. But yeah,
There's some rappers that would disagree with you.
I said some. I didn't say all. I said some.
I didn't hear.
For those who disagree, forgive me.
I'm gonna re-listen to it.
Okay, I'm sorry. I apologize. For those who I said, I apologize if I did not say some. But let's get back to the matter at hand. You know, at this point, no matter what they do, the gun violence is going to stay at an all-time high. It's going to stay at an all-time high. Too many people are it's too easy to access. It's just too easy. It's just too. If I didn't have control and say to myself, because I know I have that temper that I have, man, I don't even know how I stayed away from guns. You know what I mean? I don't even know how.
You know how?
The willpower's strong sometimes for that, man.
Yeah, it's crazy in this country, man. Even with the mental health thing, you try to call for help, bro, and you got police at your door with guns, trying to take you down, whatever, with such way, bro. Like, the mental health situation in this country is not a joke.
It is not a joke.
I mean, they shut down psychiatric asylums while things are going down in this country. It was not good. It is not good right now. So,
are we about to fold? You think this country's going under? China just bought up half the colleges.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Stuyvesant, Brooklyn Tech, you know, all the high-end colleges. Mm-hmm. China just donated, you know, where most of their people go.
Yeah.
Where their culture goes.
I'm gonna be for real. You know what this country's problem was? We tried to be Star Wars when we could have been Star Trek.
Mm. I like that. Most people don't even know what that means. You're right. You think we should have kept traveling?
We should have just kept using science for its good, straight away from using business, like straight away from the monopolies and all the other stuff. Stop letting.
So you think it's shit out there?
Huh?
You think it's shit out there? We about to turn this whole conversation around. You think it's shit out there? Keep it 100.
Everybody hasn't stopped. There are people who still focus on that.
Do I believe that is like planets outside this life? Outside this.
Do you believe there's life outside this planet?
Life outside this planet? Shoot, man. I can't even tell you, man. Even with the saucers that been going around, man, I ain't seen nobody pop out of yet and say,
hello,
goodbye, nothing. That's all it is. It's just goodbyes, fast goodbyes. I can't even tell you.
I'm gonna answer the question like this. Somebody asked me that. Do you believe that there's life after this earth? You know, beyond the earth? And I said, yeah, because I believe that I believe God and I believe there's angels. That's life. Now, it might be not physical life, maybe a spiritual life, but it's still life, right?
I don't think we'll know. Because like I said, when we try to be Star Wars or Star Trek, America is a republic, not a democracy anymore. Star Trek is a democracy. You have people that run it like fairly. Like money isn't even like an issue,
right?
Because it doesn't even exist.
Right.
They deal with money outside of people who deal with the money. Their main goal was like the human comfortability, doing for your fellow man. Like, are you telling me like we couldn't just like say screw all this work stuff, just like forget the buildings, let's just focus on getting people houses, like forget going down the roads, let's start growing fruits and all that stuff down the roads however we can, and just like start sustaining life. But we chose business. and it's driving people crazy. And you know what drives business? War and all that stuff. So guns are available, and
you know when I knew this country was out of his mind when they allowed. I can't think of the name of the young man who masterminded the building of the Cross Bronx Expressway, and they allowed him to take out major neighborhoods. If you go and read the history of the Bronx and you go back and look, and somebody put up a picture today, I think it was like 1941, they showed a picture of 174th Street and Longfellow before they even put up the projects in 1950 across the bridge. Man, it was just dirt roads. The buildings were here. The building that was on the corner is still there. The buildings that were on Longfellow at that time were still there in 1940. So we are sitting in an original building right now. The point I'm trying to make is, with all this stuff that was going on, they allowed this man to destroy a whole Bronx neighborhood just to put this highway in. I knew already that this country and the taxpayers are on two different levels. There's no way in the world we ever going to think that this country is going to do anything for the people who live in this type of environment other than keep giving them free stuff.
You know what?
That the rich don't need.
I'm gonna let you know right now. You know why this human race is doomed? Because the dollar is their Zeus, bro. You know, when you look back, I think I already told you this before, or might have brought it before. There are no such thing as Greek gods or those type of dudes at all. When you look back at their stories, bro, they're really they really have like the demeanor of like powerful men. You understand? Powerful people in powerful positions, acting in greed and all that stuff like that. And America really is Rome.
Pretty much. I say that at times.
And when you...
But who's really Caesar?
Who's really Caesar?
Who's really Caesar? Not the person they put for you to see who Caesar could be. Who's really Caesar in our modern day Rome? Who's really the Caesar around here?
It should be the people. But the thing is, we put our belief in what we've got, what we've been given.
Do you believe an ethnic group runs this world? Do you believe that one sole ethnic group runs this world? Not this country, this world. Tony, you're very quiet today.
I'm going to say this.
Just in the end of the conversation.
I think it's very suspicious that there's no proof that the world was peaceful when black people were running it. As if you had to get rid of that shit.
Ooh, he made me choke.
Because if you look at the story of the Moors and shit, bringing people out of their debt.
Wait. Go back. Hold on. Don't hate when I cough on the mic.
I just find it kind of weird that you can't find any proof that there was peace, that black people were running the shit when we had things under control. Like, you had to burn that shit quick.
What do you mean by that? Oh. Damn.
If you want to say one ethnic group runs the world, then wouldn't you say that history is like... Okay, wouldn't you say that history is the proof of that? The times that we have, is there a mission of guilt?
I was with you up to that point. And I'm going to tell you why. Guilt comes from all parties. For those who participated in the human slave trade, for those who are still participating in the human slave trade, for so-called countries who should have stood together that didn't. For the countries who are divided now, that goes a long way. Right now, as a people, we can't bow down to nobody, but yet we can't stand tall with no one either. We're in this epic race to be the number one human race in the world. All races feel that they're in this race. All culture feels that they should be the one leading the world. All ethnic groups believe that they're the most important group when the whole thing is about human. You separate human rights, you separate civil rights, and you separate freedom of liberty. Why? All three of them has the meaning for a human being to live a normal life as possible, yet, but they all have three different meanings on one human being. A man who can't sign his name must put an X. You feel what I'm saying? If he doesn't have a last name of a slave owner, then he doesn't exist. It's complicated. But yet we live in a society where we don't mind paying taxes to ride the train, get on the bus, pay for gas. Meanwhile, we live next door to the person who might be the pedophile, or who might be the rapist,
or the next nigga to go on a rampage.
The next motherfucker on a rampage shooting. Certain people don't live next door to that. So when they put out these surveys and things like that, it's because these are the people who probably own.
That I disagree with.
Oh, go ahead, I'm gonna listen. I'm sorry.
No, I just said that I disagree with because you don't know who you living next door to.
That was the purpose of
No,
me
but
saying.
you said some people don't live next door to that.
Right, some people don't.
They don't know who they living next door to.
Right, but that was the point I'm making. I apologize because I was making the point of you don't know who you living next door to because you could be living next door to the pedophile, the rapist, the murderer. You don't know. So certain people who put out these surveys, they don't live in these type of environments.
I don't think it's because I think it's because certain neighborhoods aren't publicly exposed to that. Like they're secluded really to that.
But do you want it to be publicly exposed?
You want what? The status?
I mean, well, not
the status to speak for itself.
No, I'm saying you said, do you want it to be public? You talking about the status of a person?
The status of your neighborhood.
Which is the status of an individual.
Of the individuals.
Oh, that's what I was asking. That what you
I
talking
thought
about?
you meant the crime, the status of a
No,
person.
I'm talking about the status of the person because you can go on Watchdog and see what races. I mean, not races. What
I know what you mean though.
What race? Rapists is what I was trying to say. What rapists live in your neighborhood?
Yeah. Because you can see that, and they can see it too.
That's true. Shout out to Watchdog.
And yet they still put these people in your environment.
So wait a minute. So if they don't put them back in your environment, where are they supposed to put them?
That's the question, and that's a very good question because they're not going to go up to their environment.
Okay, so wait a minute. But this is probably where they're from or where they was at prior.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so why shouldn't they put them back where they came from?
That's a very good question, and that's something I really can't answer.
So I'm saying in the event that there was a locate, so they're gonna separate everybody. They're gonna put.
If you being that what you said, you can go on Watchdog, and you realize your next door neighbor is not who you think he is.
You don't know him.
I mean, would you be more comfortable?
It doesn't matter. You know what he did because he's on Watchdog or he's on whatever that registry is.
Yeah. Okay.
Would you still be comfortable? If you have,
I live in the environment. Yes.
Mm.
If they release him to the environment, he must be okay.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Would you be comfortable if the gun license registry was just as public as that? You can see your gun, your neighbor had that. Would you? Would you be nervous? Like, oh, this dude has that, and I just had beef with that dude. Should I get a gun?
I can't answer that because I'm not a gunman.
But you are the one to ask that too, because you're not a gunman. You're the one to ask that too, because you're the one to ask, how do you feel about it? Do you feel you might need a gun? Is it getting that bad to you? That's the question.
Whether you register your gun or not, if you want one or you buy one, what purpose is it for? See, my thing is, this is was my dilemma was. I'm never a person who had to pick up a gun to say, but in this day and time, I feel like owning a weapon, and as my age gets increases, I feel like that's a better way to protect myself.
Because of these days and times.
Because of these days and times, yes.
Well, that was the question.
And the reason why I'm afraid of getting one is because to hurt someone that bad on retaliation can be somewhat childish at times because you can't take it back. You just, once you fire that bullet out of that gun, you cannot take that back. You cannot. And I'm a guy who's a little sentimental. I don't know how I survived this long out here, I couldn't tell you. I'm a very emotional dude, but it's not emotional enough to kill you. But I will hurt you. I will hurt you. I will not hesitate to hurt you. But I will catch myself not to kill you. So I don't know. I don't know right now if they should change gun laws or if they should allow everybody to register, or what would that do if everybody knew they could look online and find out who registered? Say you did have both your neighbors left to right own guns and you didn't. Would that make you want to go buy one because your neighbors got one?
Well, that was a very good question he brought up.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
That was a very good question because we know that the racist is next. I mean, the racist. Why the racist? The rapist is next door.
Right.
Why not know if a person next door is licensed with a pistol or not?
What if you're the only black dude in the all-white neighborhood and you're the only one without it? Would you want to be?
But then if you're a criminal, you can go on that same website though.
I kind of feel safe if I was in an all-black neighborhood. They probably more afraid of me in an all-white neighborhood as I'll be afraid of them. I'm just being honest.
No, probably not. Because they're the ones with the guns.
That doesn't mean nothing.
You said they would be afraid of you. Why would they be afraid of you if they got a gun?
I might take their guns out. I might make them take their guns out of the lockbox and keep the shit under the pillow. Because the niggas in the house.
Some of them, that's what they bought them for.
You understand what I'm saying?
You'll give them a reason to use
I hate to use the word nigga, but I'm just saying. That's how.
Some of them looking for a reason to take it out of the lockbox.
I'm just trying to tell you, I'm that reason. If I'm a black man in an all-white neighborhood, yeah, he that reason. How you get all them riches and all that there, buddy boy, to be up in here. You feel me? But you did make a good point. But registry is I don't know. It could be one of those things where registry might solve the problem. But then how you gonna get everybody to register? You have the right to bear arms.
My thing is, how you gonna control people when they have the gun, like if they have an emotional breakdown. We don't have a stable climate or stable
environment.
Mental places in this country where you can suspend your license and just take a few days off.
Right.
It's not like we're Switzerland or some place where you can be in they have comfortable jails and jail cells. You know what I'm saying? Like you can take your mind off that, take your mind off of life, and then get back to some things. I don't know.
We're gonna bring you back. You know we're gonna bring you. I don't even gotta say. You know you're welcome, man.
We're gonna be back. We like to have him back.
Yeah, we're gonna get up.
Conversation
we're gonna get up
is
on out of here. Time to roll out, man.
I actually gotta go to work.
That's all right. Lead us out of here, brother. And I'm gonna wrap us up.
Good being here and good seeing y'all, man.
Oh man, always a pleasure, man. You know you're always welcome. I tell you that every time I'm running to you, man. You always gotta just say, yo, you shooting tonight? Yeah, I'm gonna come through. Come on through, I got you. I'll tell you that.
May as well drop the handle. YNG King Dolo, y'all. Always follow that wherever you go. YouTube, Instagram, Apple Music. I'm all over, man.
Get all your stuff out, man. Get all your stuff out.
Yes, you can. TNT Production, please. Please tune in, y'all. It's been a great session, y'all.
Yeah.
See y'all next time.
Appreciate y'all.
Peace and love always.
Peace and love always, man. Hit play, brother. It's turned down.
My bad.
That's all right.
Officers can be heard saying they thought they...
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are out of here. Want to thank everybody for tuning in. You've been listening to TRT Production. I want to thank the Young King Dolo. Make sure you follow the Young King Dolo, YouTube, Facebook. He has every platform, man. Every platform. Go check out the Young King Dolo. You've been listening to TRT on behalf of Big Ran and Tone Tone. We will hope stay safe, like you always tell him, Tone.
Wash your hands.
Oh, he's slipping, man.
I was reading something very important.
Maybe 10 of them will be the answer. I'm trying